During the time where I'm laying over fighting for my life, that was a question that popped in my head. And I said, if I'm ever in this predicament again where I'm looking down on myself or I'm fighting for my life and I have to ask my question, I do everything in my power to fulfill my dreams, I want to be able to say yes.
I'm Krista Parkinson, and you're listening to the MyGradsGetJobs podcast, where I talk to entertainment industry professionals about what they do, how they do it, and how my grads can do it too. Season 2 is proudly brought to you by Variety Business Intelligence, home of Variety Insight, V-Score, and the Variety Archives. If you're looking to work in Hollywood, Variety Insight is absolutely essential. I depend on it every day to provide me with the most up-to-date listings of contacts, companies, and projects in development. Head to mygradsgetjobs.com/variety to learn more and take advantage of their very generous student rates. Recently, I sat down with actor and entrepreneur Alan Maldonado. I'm a super fan of the show Blackish, in which Alan plays Curtis. I'm also really excited about Alan's upcoming role in the new Tracy Morgan sitcom, The Last O.G. In this podcast, Alan talks to us about instinct, seizing opportunity, and his new app, Everybody Digital. So for all you short film creators out there, be sure to download Everybody Digital after listening to this. I want to know what the Alan Maldonado story is.
Yes.
So where are you from? Tell me a little bit about your family.
Yeah.
What was your first job in the entertainment business?
As a kid, I was very ambitious. I was always a businessman. At 3, I would call my mother and say, hey, I made your bed, you owe me $3. So it's the business side of things was always inside of me, and that was always kind of
Wait a minute,
my
would
thing.
she pay you?
You damn right she paid.
Are you kidding me? You invoiced your mother.
You damn right. You damn right. I did a service, and I need my money. At 3, but fast forward to high school is when I began to get the acting bug. My senior year, I joined an acting class, and it came easy to me.
Wait, how old were you when you identified that?
I was 15. I graduated when I was 16 years old. So this was before my birthday, my senior year, and I was 15. And
why did you graduate early?
Skipped a grade. There's times in your life that you remember, like this was the changing point. And this was it for me. I know it clearly. I identify it specifically, being that I grew up in the hood. I'm from the projects. My father passed when I was 7, so it was my mother taking care of 3 kids by herself. She did magic, being that I didn't know we were broke until I was 17. She put on this facade that we were saving up, and me being naive, I just believed it, going from house to townhouse to now we in the projects. But I'm like, oh yeah, nah, we saving. No, we good, we saving. So one day I'm outside. This is after graduation, because she was like, look, you got a year to figure out what you gonna do. My grades were okay, and basketball I got one letter from Gonzaga, but that was just partial, and we couldn't afford to go to college, so I just couldn't even go to college. So I just was like, you got 1 year to figure out what you're gonna do. So I'm out there hanging with the thugs. They out there drinking, smoking, they doing their thing, and I'm chilling. And this lady is walking down the alley, and I couldn't take my eyes off of her. To the point where everybody around me seemed to disappear, and all I could do was look at her. And as she got closer, I realized it was my mother. And it broke my heart so bad. That was the day I decided to change my life. Being that my mother is a strong black woman that she's the strongest person I've never known in my life. Never seen any weakness, never seen her cry. Only when my grandmother passed, and that was about a couple of years ago. But I never seen her not being strong. And that was always a front when she got home. My mother would work at 4 o'clock in the morning and get back home at 8 p.m. So when she got home, she always put on face. And that was the first time I actually witnessed what she was really going through. And it broke my heart. And from that day, I said I'm going to do something to change and support my family. And from there, I went into an acting class in Studio City by the acting coach Bobby Shaw Chance. She's coached everybody from Giovanni Ribisi to Drew Barrymore to tons of other actors. And I found my home in there. I call her my second mother. She birthed me as an actor. From there, my big break, I booked The Young and the Restless.
How'd you book it? Did you do it on your own? Did you have an agent? Did you have a manager?
Yeah. I met a manager who's still my manager to this day.
So how'd that happen? Did he or she approach you, or did you approach them?
Well, I was in my acting class. He approached me. And I remember having a conversation with him, like, this is what I want to do, this is what it is. And, I always trust my heart and my instincts. And I was like, I'm going to go with this guy. I'm very proud to say that we've built this, being that he has clients on several major TV shows. From the Carmichael, she's on Ghosted now. Amber, she's one of the clients, and I'm happy to say that yesterday I'm officially signed to CAA. So we built this. We built this since I was 17 years old, and he's been my manager.
And it was just you and your manager the whole time until you just got signed at CAA?
No, it's been a variety of other agencies, but it's been him consistently.
I like the loyalty.
I'm very loyal.
I talk about this a lot in class. Getting a manager or an agent is like dating in the 1950s, and the artist is the girl, and the agent is the boy.
Yeah.
And back in those days, it was the boy asked the girl, and that's just what it was.
Right.
And I feel that that's the same way is true with agent and manager relationships. Is the agent wants to approach you. They want to take ownership of you. They want to say, I found that guy. I bet your manager today is so happy that he had the good instincts back then.
Yeah, but I will say this. I will say that in my just dealing with women, is that when a woman is into
This is gonna get good. This is gonna get good.
Listen, fellas, listen. When a woman is into you, she will put herself in a position for you to approach her. So even as an actor, you have to put yourself in a position to be approached. That's one major thing that you just can't be off in the corner in the back hiding and expect somebody to be like, oh no, that's the one. That's not gonna work. You got to put yourself in position, for someone to approach. But I agree with you.
I agree with everything you just said.
Yeah, I agree with you though.
So he signed you, and then he said, I've got this role on Young and the Restless, and you said what?
Yeah, so the audition it's this foster kid storyline. So I go in for the audition, and I go through the process, go through the first audition, second audition. With the producers, they're like, okay, we want to screen test you. I'm like, all right, I don't even know what a screen test is. Screen test is actually when you go in on sometimes it's on the actual set, especially for soap operas, you go on the actual set and you work with an actual actress from the show. Other screen tests could be in the same type of office, but you're working with usually the talent that's already on the project. And like Bob comes out. Bob is one of the executive producers who owns Young and the Restless. He comes out the back, and everybody in the room is like they seen a ghost. I'm oblivious to the shit. Like I said, I'm from the hood. I don't know nothing about nothing. All I know is about acting. I came in and do my thing. I'm like, hey. So he's like, I just want to come out and say thank you. You did an amazing job. And I'm like, oh man, what's up, brother? I'm like, yeah, no, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. I'm just, And everybody was like it was the point where like nobody wanted to look him in the eye type of thing. That's how big of a person he was. Me, I'm oblivious to it. I'm like, yeah, no, okay, cool, yeah, man, I like that shirt though, man. Yeah. So I leave. My manager calls me. And he's like, you didn't get the role. I said, damn. I said, okay. He said, but wait, they're creating a role for you. Wow. I said, wow. He said, Bob said he loves you. He sees, something in you that all he can do is guarantee me 3 episodes. He said, all he can do is guarantee 3 episodes. That's what he can do. But that's what happened. So long story short for that, I booked 17. I did 17 episodes. And the only reason my storyline got cut off is because I got hit by a drunk driver.
In the show or in real life?
No, in real life. In real life. So I physically couldn't do it. I was hit by a drunk driver. Not in the car. I was walking. Outside of my acting class. A BMW Roadster was going 65 miles per hour, slammed into me, and 3 other actors, and flew in the air, landed on my face. That's why I have scars here, and my lips. My right leg was broken, my spine was curved. But that was I mentioned that was a pivotal moment in my life, as I've been, a pretty boy most of my life. And I've had to fight for that. Being in the hood is really not the best thing to be, because I'm the first target, and my name is Alan. You just imagine, like, yeah, that's Devontae, that's Marquise. You know what I'm saying? That's Alan. Yeah, I'm gonna fight Alan. Yeah, light skin, long hair. Yeah, I'm gonna fight him. He's gonna be the easiest one. So that was always, my thing where, like, if you touch my face, it was like all hell broke loose. So from that accident, I definitely say I was never upset, which was profound to me. and
Wait, never upset?
I was never upset.
Wait, why?
It was a thing of, I felt and I knew in my heart that it was meant to be. Like, this was, you know, I'm a firm believer in, you know, nothing is an accident. And I needed that for my personality, my faith in God, and my determination. This is my outlook on life, being that I've woke up many times, or especially that day, and said I had forever. And that night I'm fighting for my life, and it made me realize something that you don't. You have the moments that are in front of you, and no one's promised tomorrow. And I realized something in our acting class. We have this acting exercise where you simulate, there's a couch, but you simulate that's you in a casket, and you ask one question to yourself as you're looking at your dead body, is, did you give everything towards your dream? And at that moment, during the time where I'm laying over fighting for my life, that was a question that popped in my head. And I said, if I'm ever in this predicament again where I'm looking down at myself, or I'm fighting for my life, and I have to ask my question, did I do everything in my power to fulfill my dreams? I want to be able to say yes.
Thank you for sharing that. That
No problem.
sounds awful. Your first reaction to getting a soap opera was what? Were you happy that you got a job?
Oh, I was on. Oh, man, I quit my job. I told my manager to kiss my ass. Like, I'm out of here. You was harassing me last week. You know what? I'm not coming in tonight.
But I think this is remarkable, because do you know how many times you meet somebody where they're a good-looking guy? As a matter of fact, there's a very specific person I'm thinking of right now. I used to be an agent at WMA, back when it was WMA. And I remember there was this waiter, gorgeous, perfect 10, gorgeous. And I started talking to him, and I said, do you have an agent, a manager? He goes, my manager put me up for a soap opera. They wanted me to be on Bold and the Beautiful. I said, so what'd you do? He's like, well, why would I take that? I want independent film. I want gritty roles. I go, you're an idiot.
He's an idiot.
You're never going to make it.
He's an idiot.
Yeah, right?
He's an idiot.
Because I hear something like this. You are grateful, you're excited, you're quitting jobs all over the place because now you know you're going to make it.
Yeah, but look, I told you, I was making $6.25 an hour. That was the minimum wage back then. So me getting paid $1,000 a day, that's a big jump.
So, so you had Young and the Restless, then you had the accident. How long was your recovery period?
About 6 months. And I guess my testimony to God would be this, is that when the last stitch fell out of my mouth, I booked 3 TV shows in 1 week.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this whole time when you're going through your recovery, I mean, you're praying, you're being positive? Like, what are you doing during all of that time?
Wow. It's a gamut of I'm not saying that I was never mad, but I was definitely frustrated. Not from the accident, but I'm a person that I can't handle being down. Like, no, my leg was broke. I was back walking in 2 weeks. Like, I can't do it. Like, the doctors call me Wolverine just because, like, I heal extremely quick. And I think that's just a mental thing. I think it's just a mental thing that I'm like, no, I refuse to be down. The frustration was that, like, I went broke. I didn't have any money. I quit my job. I just was only there maybe seven months. I was back at the beginning, like what I thought I had my aha, I made it moment, and then like, no, you didn't.
And you were only 21.
I was only 21, and it's all type of, it's many lessons within that, being that I really realized that you never made it. You never made it. Success is a journey, not a destination. Meaning that no matter what level you get at, you should always strive for another level. You always strive for more. You can always be better than when you were yesterday. So that was something that I really took from that accident.
Well, so from 21 years old to, we're looking at behind us, you're on the cover of Forbes magazine.
Yeah.
So obviously you're not broke anymore.
Yeah,
Some things have happened.
Little change.
A little change. So talk to us about that, because again, I knew you from Blackish, my favorite sitcom. I go crazy about it, and it started out with a bang this week too. I just love it.
Yeah, the Hamilton.
Love it. So how many episodes? How many episodes are you going to be on this season?
You know what? I don't know.
You know yet? No.
I don't know, just because Kenya Barris is my mentor. He's my mentor, the showrunner and creator of the show. And I have another show. I'm on a new Tracy Morgan show.
I want you to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm on a new Tracy Morgan show. So depending on my schedule, it all depends. I've already done about, I think, 3 episodes so far for this season. So it all depends. There's no set number, being that my schedule is always in flux.
Can you talk about that with Tracy Morgan, how that came to be? And I think it's really interesting, both of you coming from
these accidents.
Terrible accidents.
We didn't know that until not we didn't know that, but he didn't know that until like maybe weeks into production. We finally had a conversation about it. But the Last O.G is the name of the show. It'll be coming out in, I believe, March of next year. Starring me, Tracy Morgan, Tiffany Haddish, and Cedric the Entertainer.
Wow.
So yeah, we got
That's
nice big four. We got a nice big four of talent that we're very excited. As we shot the season in Brooklyn this past summer. And how it all came about, the regular audition process, going through the gamut of one audition after another, and then finally get to the screen test. This time it wasn't on an actual location. It was with Tracy Morgan. And so I go in, Tracy's in the middle of the room, and he walks out, "Cousin!" And we basically improv for 20 minutes. Jordan Peele is in there, and he's just throwing out lines. He's the executive producer of the show and showrunner. So he's in there throwing out lines. So we improv for 20 minutes. We do not do one page from the audition. One page from the audition. Our chemistry is that in tune where we just was going. And as I tell the story around, people like, really? Like that, it's a rarity that ever happens where, you know, you have that type of chemistry from day one. And
okay, so you do a lot of things. You
Yeah.
write, you act, you've got a music company.
yeah.
Let's talk about your music company.
Okay.
Tell me about it.
It's called Get It Done Records. I definitely had aspirations of being a musical artist at one point, but it stemmed from acting because everything revolves around acting, and that's kind of how I kind of set my business. Everything revolves around acting. All of my businesses all go back to acting. And during that time, all the rappers was getting all the roles. So I began doing music, and I always preach to everybody is that find out what you love to do and learn how to make money from it. Simple as that. Simple, but it's not as that simple, but it is. Being that I had aspirations of being this rapper and artist and try to sell albums, and that didn't work. That didn't work out for me. So instead of like, I quit, I figured out a way to make money from it. I found this other lane where I could still do music and I could still do it at a high level. And I also, at the time when I met Dustin, I had like 5 artists. We were pumping out music every, 10 songs maybe every other week.
So you're a producing artist?
Yeah, producing artist, writing, doing R&B, we was doing the hip hop. And I began to look into TV placements. And being that it's a huge, I won't say void, but there's it's overlooked. It's an industry that most musicians don't even know.
Wait a second. So how'd you do that? You're sitting there making music. How'd you know who to contact?
I went into a Foot Locker. I'm like, that's great marketing right there. And I asked somebody in there, they didn't know. And I'm like, okay. So I looked up line. What companies do this, do that, do that. To the point where I did so much. I went from one breadcrumb to the next. I ended up finding the contact information for the president's his assistant. And, one thing you must learn in this game is that assistants are the gatekeepers. You getting good with the assistant, that's you damn near talking to them. You dealing with the president, basically. So what happened was we got a great relationship. We started talking over the phone. I was like, this is the company. She was like, send me the stuff. Send me your music videos. And long story short, I had music playing in all the Foot Action Champs. And this is before it even, that was even a big thing. And I was I may have been the only independent, label that did that at that time.
But it's interesting because you let your natural curiosity lead you.
Yeah.
And you let your interest lead you and what you really wanted to do. I mean, that's what these guys are doing right now with approaching people to talk to that they're interested in to get an informational meeting.
Yeah.
And you don't necessarily get all the information, and you get a lot of rejection. So who cares? You move on to the next.
Yeah,
if Foot Locker said no, then you go, okay, chance. Okay, then there's this. So you got that account then, and you said, I'm going to make this a real business. And then, boom.
And I began to reach out to different companies that service TV. It's a big company called Mega Tracks, and there's a lot of them.
And you've still got the company now.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about Everybody Digital?
Everybody Digital started 2 years ago. It was born out of heartbreak, being that I had a short film that went on to win countless awards, that got in, tons of festivals. And after that 12, 15-month window, it was over. And in that time, I really realized that the only people that saw my film was people that were friends and family, people that are in the production, are in the film industry. So the average consumer that enjoys television or just going to the theater never gets to see these films. I began to look at this landscape of just short films, and I began to realize that it's the least evolved genre in our industry. So I wanted to create a platform and satisfy and create an industry for short films. And that's what Everybody Digital is. Everybody Digital is a streaming app. We'll be the short form version of Netflix. And with this, I'm creating an industry for short films where we're establishing our own stars. We're shooting original short films. We shoot a film every month and an original digital series every other month. We've been curating a catalog for the past 2 years from films from around the world. And as many of you may know, people that made short films, a lot of times after they go to the film festival, they're just sitting on people's computers. The game plan is that I will create an industry where people can make money off of their short films.
So you would be going to these film festivals and buying these shorts?
Well, we're partnered up with film festivals right now. We're partnered up with the NBC Short Film Festival. We're partnered up with several others like the New York Latino festivals, and we're closing a lot of deals with a lot of film festivals as the winners will be streaming on our app. With this being a new company model, like all of our filmmakers now are we're licensing their films for free for the first 2 years. And after that, we'll redo the contract, and then we're paying all of our people.
Everybody Digital, it's
Everybody
on iTunes.
Digital.
So what if there was somebody in this class right now who created a short film or is in the process of creating one? Would your platform be right for him or her?
Yes. And it's non-exclusive, so you guys can do whatever you want with it outside of. You're just giving us the right to license it again for the first 2 years. And all you have to do is go to the website, everybodydigital.com, and you can upload it right on the application is all there, and then you can just upload it right there.
Can I open up to anybody in the class who wants to ask?
So earlier in your career, you said that you were willing to take pretty much any role you were offered.
Yeah.
Was there at one point where you said, okay, now I'm going to be looking for only certain roles, or?
I never was in that position to do certain roles that I didn't want to do, because everything in my marketing, so to speak, my pictures, my brand, everything that I was developing didn't speak to what I didn't want to do. So everybody saw me in what I wanted to do. And that's a very important point. That's what I always stress to a lot of actors is that, when you think of Coca-Cola, you think of red, white, the cursive, you think of white polar bears, you think of Santa Claus, you think of Coca the Smile, you think of Mountain Dew, people jumping off fucking buildings. You know what I'm saying? Bright green, yellow. And that's the people that are attracted, these extremists, they're gamers, this is what they're attracted to. So you won't find somebody that likes Diet Coke sipping on a Mountain Dew, or that's their personality. So you play to your audience, and that's something where I never was in that position, really, to be like, I don't really want to do that, especially early in my career. Being that, like I said, all my pictures, I had my cornrows, I always had tough roll, like I was always the troubled teen. So as I developed in my career, I got more specific on what I wanted to do. I found out who I am and figured out what I want to do, and being that my brand is the funny tough guy, being like a la The Rock, a la Mark Wahlberg, a la Bruce Willis. Those are the films and the type of roles that I'll be taking on, and all of my images, my marketing, everything fits to that, where people will see me as that. So that, I think that answers your question.
Yeah, so it's really how you sell yourself.
Exactly.
Hey man, thanks for coming.
No problem, bro.
Eduardo. I was wondering, what's your advice, what advice you would give me the moment before stepping into the audition room?
This is what you got to understand, is that everybody's on the opposite side of your table, job is on the line. It's their job to find someone that's good enough. So the pressure isn't on you. The pressure's on them. Because if they don't find who they supposed to, the talent that they need, they're fired. So for me, my approach is always that let's consider this. When somebody on the street approaches you trying to sell you something, what happens? You're just like, nah, I'm cool. You don't even want to hear what they got to say half the time. You're like, oh man, I'm selling. No, I'm cool. But when somebody comes in and give you like, I got these free t-shirts, Even if you got 1,000 t-shirts, you're like, all right, man, what's all right? Let me get a medium. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You got 1,000 t-shirts. Everybody love free shit. You know what I'm saying? That's to be everybody. I don't care what, rich, poor, everybody love it. So that's my approach. I'm gifting you something. I'm coming in providing you what you're looking for. So the pressure's off me. I'm actually doing, not favor, do you a favor. I'm actually giving you what you're looking for. And it's not about booking the role, because there's a lot of logistics that happen outside that has nothing to do with acting. 90% of the time, you may not get something that has nothing to do with acting. A lot of times, it could be like we want somebody that's that's overweight. Oh, okay. I wish you would have said that earlier, but you know what I mean. But seriously, like that's happened. Then it's the business side of it, because this is what I like to stress to actors, because a lot of times when people quit or get discouraged, it's because they don't have the right perspective. How many of y'all would love $40 million? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Everybody in here, right? So if you had $40 million, are you just gonna be I'm be careful with this $40 million. I need this $40 million. I'm not gonna just gamble this. I'm not gonna put $40 million on black. Think of it from the investor's point of view. This could be the best actor I've seen in my life. Oh my God, he moves me, he does everything. His last movie did $2. Okay. All right, so this guy, I may not even care for. I may not even like him that much. But his last movie did $200 million. How many of y'all want y'all $40 million back? And if I'm a gamble on black, I need to know all the logistics. When was the last time it was on black? How many times did it land on it this night? Okay, so what's the coin that I'm putting on it? Is that good luck? Like, I need to know everything on me to get my $40 million back. So a lot of times it has nothing to do with the person's ability, but more to do with the business side of things. And my idea, what my approach on every audition is, I'm not concerned with yeses. I want to make it hard for you to say no.
But that's true for anything. I mean, what you just described is so fantastic for an actor's point of view, but it's any job interview you go into.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yep.
I mean, they're not going to tell you, oh, we're looking for somebody who's overweight, or we're looking for somebody this. They'll never tell you the reasons why you're not getting it, but it doesn't matter. You don't fit necessarily the business, so it's fine.
I mean, even as a writer, he said he didn't even know my writing background. And Mike, when I got in there, he was like, he said, I'm gonna be working for you, kid. like that's me setting my business up for him to see, like, oh wow, you got all this other stuff going on. You got like one day he said, one day I'll be working for you.
Let's hope we'll all be working for him one day. Okay, we've got one more question, then we need to wrap up, because I know we're almost over.
Okay, what's that?
Bruce Wayne.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hi. First, thank you so much for coming here.
No problem, man.
My name is Song, but in this class, they call me Bruce Wayne.
Okay, all right,
He's
Bruce.
Batman.
Is Batman? All right.
Yeah. So I want to ask a question about Everybody Digital.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think it's a great platform for filmmakers.
Yeah.
So I want to ask, does that accept international film
Yes, it
short
does.
films? Because I myself ran a film festival here at USC.
Yeah.
It's called Film Festival of Young Cinema, and it's been 5 years.
Oh, wow.
So actually, we accept like 300 to 500 short films every year.
Mm-hmm.
If it got relations with Chinese, because I'm from China.
Okay.
So what I mean for it got related to China, because it's either the film's producer or director or screenwriter is from China. Does not necessarily mean the films about China. Actually, a lot of films are in English.
Yeah.
So I want to ask about, like, because the purpose of this film festival is to, like you said, because a lot of students for a lot of money into the short films, then poof,
It's
never
nothing.
happens.
Right.
Our goal is to make these films happen. Because, for example, last year's our winner is the opening short film of Los Angeles Film Festival.
Yeah.
So I want to ask about how your platform is a digital platform related to film festivals, especially for students.
Yeah, well, no, like I said, our NBC Film Festival winners and all the winners will be streaming. That's kind of our partnership with NBC, is that all of their short form winners and pretty much all of their, they have all of their finalists, basically, they have 7 or 8 finalists, will be distributed and streamed on the app. And what we do for our film festivals is that we feature those films. They'll get the home banner. We have a Everybody Digital magazine that'll be coming out quarterly. That they'll have it featured in there. And I'm working out something with iTunes as well. That all of all of the winners will get like free membership, just different little stuff that we'll do for all of our winners. But definitely, we're getting film. We have a bunch of films from overseas as well that will be in our catalog. And what's really cool, like just to kind of give you a heads up on our second, like this is the first version, but our second versions will be we'll have 3D capability.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so like again, this is just for me. This is just a jab. This is a jab because the second version is about to be crazy. It's about to be crazy.
So good.
Yeah.
So we need to wrap up. But
Okay.
if there's one last piece of advice you'd give to your 20-year-old self,
Ooh.
and these 20-year-olds who are listening to this right now, what would you say?
I would say something like this. This has been my kind of phrase for the past couple of years. There are no rules, only negotiations. Meaning that if anybody tell you that you can't do something or something that can't happen, it's bullshit. Negotiations. I always refer like there's the Jordan rule, there's whatever. Like if you're that superior of a talent, people will change the rule for you. You got to be that great and you got to work that hard. But there are no rules, only negotiations. Only negotiations. So never negotiate with your life. Get what you want at the end of the day.
That's good. Thank you. That was amazing. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Feel free to drop me a line or leave a review on iTunes. I'd love to hear from you. That's it for this week. I'll see you on the next episode of the My Grads Get Jobs podcast.